Shalom, it's no limit Eddie, back with another video. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. I've tried to film this video so many times, it's crazy. So I'm wearing this jacket for two reasons. Number one, because it's kind of cold, but right now it's kind of warm. I'm getting hot in this actually. And then number two, I wanted to wear this to let you guys know I'm doing something called Non-Stop November, where I post a video every single day in the month of November. In yesterday's video, we went ahead and picked up this off-white crew neck and as well jacket, and as well as another one. We went bargaining for fake designer goods here in Egypt. It's a pretty interesting video. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the future Non-Stop November videos. But why do you feel stuck in life? Feeling stuck in life. So a few years ago, I myself was feeling stuck in life. I just kept having this recurring dream, I guess you could say it was, where I was just stranded in the middle of an ocean, dark clouds, you know what I mean? Deep, deep blue water. And I'm kicking and I'm flaring and I'm just moving around to make sure that I don't drown. And that was interesting because the dream was overly vivid. I was breathing fine. There was no water coming into my mouth, no water coming into my nose. But I was kind of nervous, you know what I mean? Kind of nervous about it. But I never was at risk of drowning. However, I was still kicking and paddling and flaring around just to make sure that I never did drown. Off in the distance, though, I could see an island. On that island, man, it was Ferraris on that island. People just wearing Rolexes on the beach, just chilling, living, partying on an island, and it looked like a dope spot. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm in this storm in the sea, and these people over there chilling. Like, I'm trying to get over there. And so later on, I come to realize, after thinking about why I kept having this recurring dream or vision, whatever it was, the island was a representation of what I deemed success to be, right? And the ocean was just a representation of my life. And the portion of the ocean that I was in, like I said, it was this dark cloud. It was deep blue. I couldn't see nothing. I didn't know what was underneath me. If it was a shark, it was a jellyfish. And so that was a representation of me being in a part of my life, or a part of the ocean, where I was outside of my purpose, because I didn't even know what my purpose was. I was just kind of living, right? And then me flaring around and doing all this stuff was all the different ventures that I was doing to incur income, right? And all those ventures were keeping me afloat. Like I said, I was breathing. Water wasn't coming into my nose. I wasn't even at risk of drowning, but I was still just flaring around and kicking around kind of aimlessly, right? Without a definite purpose. Back to the vision, or back to the dream. So I see the island in the distance, and that seemed like the place to be. Like, yo, like, everybody kicking, everybody cool, everybody having fun. I want to get to that island. And so I keep kicking and flaring and paddling to, go towards the island. But no matter how much I'm doing it, I'm not moving forward towards that island. And I just don't get it. Like, why can't I move forward? Like, I feel like I'm doing everything in my power, but I'm not moving forward towards it. I'm not making any progress towards that goal, or towards that destination. And so what it was is, I'm trying to keep my head above water. I'm trying to kick and paddle and flare like this. But you can't swim. You can't have full momentum when you just up in the water like this. If you want to swim, you gotta dive in. You gotta have your face in the water. And I didn't want to put my face in the water. I didn't want to put myself in a position where I could potentially drown. Because as a kid, I was at a summer camp. At Southwest Community College. I'm from South Central LA, so that was right down the street from my house. Now, and as a part of that, they had some pools, and it was kids in the summer camp. They let you swim in the pools and stuff like that. Now, I never knew how to swim, never was taught how to swim, but I said, okay, cool, we're gonna swim today. We get in the pool. Water gets. I basically started drowning. I don't know what exactly transpired, but I basically started drowning, to the point where, like, everything I'm hearing is muffled. My eyes are muffled. I'm swallowing in water. I ended up jumping onto somebody's, like, shoulder. I don't know how I did that from the water, jumping on somebody's shoulder and then jumping out of the pool, and then recovering from there. And since then, I'm like, oh, nah, that was a crazy experience. And that had me traumatized for a very, very, very long time. And so when I came to Egypt, that was one of the first things I did, was learn how to swim. So if you didn't watch that video about the scuba diving video, check that video out. But yeah, since coming to Egypt, I know how to swim now. And the biggest thing I learned about swimming is just be at peace in the water. If you can be at peace in the water, swimming is pretty easy. It's fun, and it's actually relaxing. And so I'm kind of mad at it's getting a little cold, because I would like to continue to swim, but it is what it is. But so yeah, back to all right, yeah, so I was editing a video and I realized I didn't talk about what drowning meant in the allegory. So you guys know most people turn 18, and a lot of black communities they usually get kicked out the house, right? However, I had the same situation happen to me, but in reverse. But that's a story for a whole nother day, and that's a story for a whole nother day. Essentially, what it came down to, man. At that point in time, I literally had negative $5.96 in my account. I was at a coin. I had a gallon bottle of coins. You know what I mean? Not even full of coins, but a gallon bottle with some coins in there. I was dumping that out and going to Ralph's on, I think it was, what is it, Imperial, Vermont, something like that, to get saltine crackers and water for dinner. So I mean, a lot of you guys be like, you are wise beyond your years and different things like that. Pain will really educate you. You know, put your hand on the back of an iron and you're going to learn very quick that you did not like that feeling and that you don't want to go back to that feeling. And so my fear of drowning in real life was going back to that level of lack, that level of scarcity financially. And so that was my drowning in this allegory. I refuse to go back to negative accounts, refuse to go back to saltine crackers and water, you know, refuse to go back to, like I was walking dogs in the rain, like couldn't even afford an umbrella, so my socks was literally soaked in water. I'm like, I'm gonna get pneumonia. I hope I don't get pneumonia. I cannot afford a hospital bill. Like, you know, treacherous situations. And it was like that for a little minute. You know, we survived that situation though. You know, and we came out of it. So yeah, let's get back into the story. So yeah, in order for me to get to the island, man, I gotta put my head underneath that water, and I don't want to do that, right? So what does the putting my head underneath the water represent? Well, in order for me to swim, I had to be in a position where I could potentially drown, right? In order for me to get to that island, I had to swim. In order for me to get to success, I had to take risk. The putting my head underneath the water or getting into a swimming position represented risk. I have to risk drowning in order to swim. It's a fact. This whole earth that we live on revolves around the yin and the yang principle. There is no right hand if there is no left hand, right? There is no up if there is no down. You see? So this whole world that we live in is based upon a yin and a yang principle. So if you want to succeed, right, you want to win in life, you have to put yourself in a position where you could potentially lose. If there's no chance of you losing, there's no chance of you winning. So once I kind of got that concept, okay, in order for me to get this island, I have to swim. I have to put my head underneath this water. I have to understand that yes, it's a potential that I could drown. But if I just continue to flare around, there's 100% certainty that I will not reach this island. There's 100% certainty I will not reach the island that's flaring around. So therefore, if I want to reach this island, I have to risk. I have to take the risk of drowning. I have to accept that there's a risk and take it. And so once I began to understand that and begin to take risk, then I started to see myself having more forward momentum. All right, so risk taking. But let me give you a story about me taking risk. So I was somebody who never was a fan of credit. I was never a fan of loans, anything like that, because I always was just nervous. Like that's not a smart thing to do. Just get money and then buy the item. So I didn't want to do that. But anyway, I decided to take a risk of getting a car in order to start a YouTube channel, a car YouTube channel. Back then, and when I was in LA, Target Cars and Mr. Organic was the people I watched every single day. They gave me a massive amount of motivation, especially when I met them too, and seeing them in real life, it was even more motivation for me to continue down this path or whatever. So I said, I'm gonna get a car, I'm gonna build my channel off of that, and I'm gonna take the risk. So again, like I was never a big fan of loans, never a big fan of things like that, but I said, all right, whatever, we're gonna try it out, we're gonna give it a full go, and see what comes of it, you know? So I ended up getting a car, ended up getting a 2013 Sign Up for Rest. It was basically a backup after I couldn't get the Challenger Scat Pack. And I was nervous, I was really nervous to sign that paper, to accept that loan or whatever. And, you know, I was 21 black male, so they're gonna give you a very subprime interest rate. And I had already been doing my research on that and seeing like the deadliness of it. But I said, you know what, it is what it is. Like if things go the way I wanted to go, I'll be able to pay the car off no problem, and you know what I mean, keep it as momentum forever. So I go ahead and get that car loan, whatever. I'm producing videos. I'm producing videos on the car. It's not necessarily panning out in the beginning because it's like maybe a couple hundred views, something like that, nothing crazy. But then I ended up having that car and getting pulled over. It's flies flying all on my ear. I ended up having that car, getting pulled over. Was very frustrated, extremely frustrated. Made a video, and by the way, my car note was $422 a month, $422 a month. So I ended up getting mad about it, whatever. Made a video about that. At this time, my channel had maybe 850 subscribers. I made a video. That video absolutely blew up. Off that one video alone, it paid for an entire year's worth of my car's note plus profit on top of that, off of one video. So once that video blew up, okay, I got monetized, boom. So that video earned me a crazy amount of money, paid for my entire car note for a year, and had profit still left on top of that. I only had that car for probably a year or so. Then me getting that car, not only did it, monetize not only did it pay for my car note for a whole year, but it also monetized my YouTube channel, which is another way that here on the continent that I'm able to earn an income. I'm making money by filming this video right now, which it monetized me to allow me to continue to earn income for the future. When I went back to Cali for like those 6 days, I did everything I needed to do to set it up for a voluntary surrender. A voluntary surrender to the car. I prayed on it. The amount that the car sold for was more than I owed on it, and so I ended up zeroing out my entire balance. So I got a car which if I end up having had paid the whole car note on it and not refinanced it and paid all the interest, I would have paid I think $38,000. But that car ended up paying me for getting it, and that is an example of risk taking, right? And me taking that risk allowed me to start swimming, start moving closer towards that island, start moving closer towards what I deem to be success. And I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't take that risk there, because moving to Africa is a huge risk, right? And everything you do has to be in incremental steps. You got to be small risks, and you got to build up from there. And so for everybody who's like, I want to get into the course, but I'm scared to spend $80, it's like, you're not going to win if you don't take risks. If the risk that you're taking, right, with the course, if you spend $80, and the course I'm talking about is the course linked in my description, teach you guys how to sell on Etsy, how to go from 9 to 5 to on your grind, selling on a platform called Etsy. Now, the risk you're taking with buying that course is $80, right? You're risking $80. Now, your fear could be that you spend $80 and you get nothing in return. You don't make the $80 back, right? That's the risk that you're taking. You have to accept that. The same way I have to accept, okay, in order for me to swim towards this island, I have to accept the risk that I could potentially drown. Now, simultaneously, you have to look on the flip side, okay? The risk is that you spend $80 and you make nothing. The upside of that is that you spend $80 and you now have a way to make $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 a month, right? In perpetuity. So likewise, you have to weigh the risk and the reward. So if I looked and say, okay, if I can get this car, right? I could get it and the YouTube channel doesn't blow up, doesn't pop off or anything like that. And I have my car note and I gotta pay $422 a month on it. Eventually I refinance it, and it is what it is. I got a car, I gotta pay, sure. The flip side is I create an entire YouTube channel, an entire brand around this car, and I'm able to get my dream car eventually, which is a Nissan GT-R. So to me, the reward outweighed the risk. So likewise, you have to ask yourself, when you're thinking about taking risks, if you want to begin to progress in life, if you're tired of feeling stuck, you have to say, okay, what is the reward, and then what is the risk, right? And if the reward outweighs the risk, take the risk, right? It's really all that simple. That's the secret to progress. Taking risks, calculated risks that say, okay, if I win, I'm going to win big. If I lose a little. So likewise with the course, if you lose $80, right? If you win an income for life. Simultaneously to that, your success is my success, right? Because my goal is to help 1,000 people make $1,000 per month. So I want you to succeed. As much as I can do to help you succeed, that's what I'm going to do. Because you got to think about it from my perspective. You winning is me winning. Because if you win, you're gonna say, you're gonna go to everybody you know. Yo, I took this course from No Limit Eddie, and now I'm making this amount of money. Da da da. Now you're becoming a sales agent for my course, right? So your success is my success. So I have a very vested interest in making sure that you succeed on both ends. Because number one, I want to help 1,000 people make $1,000 a month. And number two, if you succeed with the course, you're going to tell other people to get into the course as well. So, and so that's why I say it makes sense for you to roll in the course, and you know what I mean. Give it a shot. Take the risk. You know what I mean. It's the only way to make progress. So anyway, see you guys in the next one. Y'all willing. Peace.